go for it. So g'day folks, it's Greg here, CEO and founder of Ubuntu and Send Handwritten. And today is the first ever of our affiliate get-togethers for Ubuntu powered by Send Handwritten. On the call today, there's of course the three Ubuntu team members, myself, Steve, Dart, and Andy Baker. And we've got Steve Sandor, who's closely aligned with us, and Daniel Damaschio and Kate de Jong over in Perth. What we want to do is talk about a few things, and we're going to introduce each other in a minute, but we want to talk about a few things. I want to wave the flag around the headlines, around the paperwork that you guys have signed, that digital form, and just point to the headlines there so that there's so that we're on the same page and we're excited about what's possible together. Then I think what we'll do is we will share a little bit of the context of Ubuntu and Send Handwritten and how they've come to be. So not a long story, just a truncated, news flash on that. And then I'll get Andy and Steve to both share. We'll have a look at the Ubuntu website, but to share what it is that we're up to, our vision for this business, and where we want to take it. And we're taking it there in collaboration with our affiliates. So first cab off the rank then is, Andy, would you just like to introduce yourself for the sake of the recording and people that don't know you, and really for the sake of Daniel and Kate, who are on the call?
Sure thing. Andy Baker, Creative Director. First and foremost, I am a dad and a granddad and a creative and an extremely busy individual, but I like it that way. I believe strongly in energy and resonance and connection and friendship. I love everything about what we're trying to achieve and where we want to take this business. In particular, meeting like-minded individuals who are on the same sort of path or the same sort of energy wave.
Beautiful. Thanks, Andy. Steve?
Hi, everyone. Thanks very much for giving up your time this morning. My name's Steve Dart. I am the creator of Amplify You under the Ubuntu brand, and I help my clients unlock the power of LinkedIn to build their strong personal reputation and influence to the world's professional community. I've got a rich history of working with big brands such as Red Bull Energy Drink and Hard Rock Cafe, and I'm looking forward to working with you or sharing my knowledge and helping you progress your LinkedIn journey.
Beautiful. So Steve's a marketing brain, specializing unbelievably cleverly in LinkedIn. Sandor, Steve, Esquire, hey. Friend, colleague,
yes,
fellow beach walker.
Don't build me up too much, mate. No, thank you. Kate, your business is called Inspired Business. My business is called Inspiring Business. So it's perfect that we're here together. I help medium-sized business owners, not medium-sized as in size of them, but businesses that are 10 to 50 employees strong. The business has grown to a point where the business owner has stretched their capabilities and they need a bridge between their skill set and their staff's skill set. So I go in and help them with systems, processes, ideas, tapping into my wisdom that I've accumulated over 5 different industries, a number of continents, and about 67 years worth of being circles around this earth. So that's me. Really excited to work with you guys. So yeah, looking forward to what comes next.
And Steve, hearing you speak, what I need to let you know, and this is for us and for anybody that's tuned into the recording, I was speaking to a gentleman at Harbord or Freshwater in Sydney this morning, and I'm going to refer him to you because you two can help each other. So long story, but this affiliate, community can, I think, cross-populate and support each other. So that's incoming for you. Kate, who the heck are you? What's your genius? Tell us a
that's
story.
That's a good question, isn't it? It's always a hard one to answer. Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm loving what I'm hearing so far about energy, resonance, inspiring business, because that's all my language, my wavelength. So I have been helping people to start and grow small businesses for nearly a decade. And it's always been a focus on marketing, simply because that's where you need to kind of start, isn't it? With your brand voice, your identity, your core messaging, the people you want to reach, how do you reach those people? And I connected with Greg through District 32, and there were just so many synergies there. And I've referred a few clients since, because I think what you're doing in terms of the specific targeting you can do via the mail outs and so on, that's something that I've been missing in my toolkit to be able to offer clients. And I just love what you're doing, and I want to support you guys and support my clients and find a way to all work together.
Beautiful. Thanks, Kate. And you're more than welcome. I love our conversations. You're a wonderful energy to have around our team. So thank you. And for the referral, that I think his name's Anthony, I think he will become a client this week.
Oh,
so
that's fantastic.
yeah, so thank you. I'm not sure if you saw my text this morning.
I did, and I apologize. It's been hectic with kids and so on.
That's okay. That's okay. All good. Daniel, who the heck are you?
Hello. I ask myself that every day. I'm Daniel Damasio, and I'm a principal buyer's agent for Urban Buyer. And basically what we do is help people with their property buying journey. So, whether it be investors or people looking for their dream home, or maybe it's just a stepping stone home. So we try and make that process very easy. And I've got a lot of background in property, starting from started my career as a commercial builder, actually ground up in high rise, went through property development, and now at the other end, at the retail end of property. So I'm certainly into authentic relationships and people. So I've identified that certainly in the crew at Ubuntu, and I've dealt with Greg, obviously, and Steve. So I'd like to do what I can to support wherever I can. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let's give this business and what we're up to a little bit of the context, because this is the language that I know is being shared around the community, around the business community, about us and for us. So here's the headlines. For the last 4 or 5 years, Andy and I founded and developed the concept around Send Handwritten. And when we began, maybe we made a boo-boo and maybe we didn't, but what we essentially said was that by leveraging the quietest channel to market, which is the physical mailbox, you can still whisper in 2023 and 2024 and be heard. But that communication via physical mailboxes, which sit out in front of every human being's home and or business, is not being leveraged very much anymore because we've gone digital. So when we began, what we built was a business around verified, clean, up-to-date data. So we developed a data team, and they are offshore. Andy, as the creative director, puts together the physical card campaigns with extraordinary creative, clever, but not manipulative scripting, from a storytelling point of view, that is then, the physical mail is then handwritten by real human beings, wax sealed by a gentleman called Jeff, who spends all his days wax sealing mail, and he loves his job. He's also doing some writing for us. And then we have a call team that we activate. Now, the call team are all English first language speakers, mainly here in Australia, but we do have one gentleman in the Philippines who's a Pom, but so he calls from there. So our defining point of difference with Send Handwritten: data, cards, calls, call team activated to begin conversations by interrupting busy decision makers' patterns of attention. That's the guts of it. When we began, we said that what we were really good at was lead generation and client retention. They were the two things that we lent on. What we've now morphed into, having been in this business for a few years now, is we are actually 2024 contemporary storytellers built on understanding who our client is, who the avatar is that they want the attention of, and creating belief in our client, their sense of significance about the work that they are up to, and then telling that story in contemporary, cut through, meaningful, and as much as possible, no BS ways. My assertion is that business to business and corporate communications is bland, it's boring, and it's invisible. Our job is to, as storytellers, help bring those messages of Daniel and of Steve and of Kate and of, you know, whoever we're working with, to bring those stories alive. And the reputation that we now have doing that, is pretty extraordinary. We've got a good reputation. I just jumped off a call 5 minutes ago, and Steve and Andy don't know this, but it looks like we now have a toehold in the international market around ride sharing. Now, that's a big, big story with millions, hundreds of millions of dollars being thrown at it. We're invited to the table because we're good storytellers. So that's the send handwritten piece. Think data, cards, and calls, showing up in the quietest channel to market. What happened in the middle of 2022 was that by then Steve Dart had joined our team, and Steve is a marketing genius. You know, you don't work for Red Bull and be a numpty. You've got to know what you're up to in terms of marketing. But Steve's made the decision to deeply, deeply, fiercely niche into LinkedIn for a whole bunch of reasons. So now in 2022, Steve, Greg, and Andy are the leaders of this business, and we're getting feedback from the marketplace because we're now well into COVID. And the feedback was, this isn't working the same way as it was 2 years ago, Greg, or 18 months ago, or last year. Something has changed. And we were having unusual things happen to us, people not showing up to meetings, and feedback where people were getting upset with us. And so the three of us sat down, and what we got was this: COVID, floods, fires, and then it morphed into Ukraine and now the Middle East, and crazy governments and control and power and all of that sort of stuff was impacting business decision makers around the planet with whom we're working. So what we named was the marketplace, which is made up of human beings, is anxious. And once that penny dropped, we intuitively knew that the way to cut through the noise was to be human, was to connect the human spirit with another human spirit, to connect the C-suite of a business and the impact that they've decided to have with the clients that they want, or the prospects that they want the attention of. What came out of that then was Buntu. Buntu is a derivative of the South African word Ubuntu, which means, I see you, Kate. I hear you. I recognize the fact that you are a fellow human being, and together, in collaboration, we can make fun, worthwhile, meaningful things happen to help grow purpose-driven businesses. So Ubuntu was a word that I'd used in my outdoor education career, working outdoors with corporates and young adults. So I worked long and hard with Steve and Andy on this, and we took the U off the front, and that's Andy's genius, and we called it Buntu, connection with intention. Here's part of the context. In 2019, there was about, if you look at Google and type it in, how much money was spent on digital marketing in 2019? The answer is about 250 billion. If you put in the same question for 2023, the answer is over 1.5 trillion. So the question becomes, for us as small to medium enterprise business leaders, how do we get heard in that cacophony of saturated noise? As carbon units, we are full to the brim. So Buntu is answering that question. Connection with intention, with human beings talking to human beings, not bots to bots and emails to emails and all of the automations which facilitate stuff. At the core of that are people. Here's the tagline or the message that we want to share with you that we'd love shared with the marketplace. Ubuntu is about collaborating on work that matters with people who care to help build businesses of purpose, or build businesses that have a purpose. And the purpose that drives this human being as the CEO is that I want to sit on my veranda at whatever age, talking to my bride, who I've been married to this year for 34 years, and say, how did we go, dear? And if the answer is we did our best to make a difference with the resources, the education, the health, and what it is that we were gifted with on this planet, then we've done good. Well done. We can, leave this mortal coil knowing that we've done our best. Now that's what's driving, the intent that's behind the business, growing purpose-driven businesses. I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, being interviewed by a Black South African man. His name is Prosper Taravinga. You may know him. And he said to me, Greg, I just love that you've taken the Ubuntu concept, which means humanity. He said, do you know what the word Ubuntu means? And I went, no, we just took the U off the front, Ubuntu. And he went, you silly duffer. He said, the word Ubuntu means people. Like I get goosebumps when I say it. Ubuntu means people, connection with intention. He said, you know what the word Muntu means with an M in front? I said, no, I didn't even know what Ubuntu meant, mate. No, what does Muntu mean? He said, it means person. So this team is about humanity connected with intention under a brand that is about people. And when it's ultimately about supporting the individual, the Muntu, in having the impact they get out of bed to have every day. All right. So I think what I might do is pull stumps there for a minute. Andy, my thought is that if I share the Ubuntu website and we just walk our way through that with a little explainer. We don't want to dive too deeply into this, but a little explainer of each piece so that our affiliates have a sense of what it is that we're up to in totality. And if you can share the first couple of bits and then Steve and we just fill in those blanks a little bit, would that be a sensible thing to do?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Before you get there, I mean, the beauty of what we're trying to achieve, and I think we're getting there quite successfully, particularly over the past 12 months, is that you can come in as a client or you could come in as anybody really, as a human being, and slot anywhere in to our process. So if you want to come in and do everything that we do and start with an uncover and find out really who you are deep down, great, it's a great place to start. But you don't need to do that every single time. It depends where you are on your business journey or on your own journey. So there's an ability to drop in at any stage. So, you know, for you guys out in the marketplace talking about us, there's the opportunity to see where someone might fit, and they don't necessarily have to follow the bouncing ball. Like I say to everybody, we're not here to sell you anything. We're here to help you out. So there is an ability to drop in at Uncover, Express, Amplify, Support, Develop. You'll see all that sort of stuff. Not necessarily, we do talk about the bouncing ball a lot. That does apply to start to finish if we are unpacking everything. But the bouncing ball is primarily on the touch points inside of Send Handwritten, which is the powered by section. So, yeah.
All right, so let's share the screeno. We get rid of all of that. So this is the Ubuntu website, and kudos to Andy, who is the creative genius behind this. I would reckon this website is 50% built. There's so much more that we want to do with this in terms of functionality. But Andy, maybe you just pick up and you direct my mouse and share your thoughts, please.
Yeah, for sure. Greg's right. We're probably only 50% there. We have a fantastic, very clever and talented team who are way too busy, including all of us. So we get to stuff when we get to it. Sometimes all the fun stuff has to get left because there's everything else that we've got to get into. Not that everything else is not fun. Okay, so if you look obviously in the top bar there, I mean the scrolling questions we ask everybody all of the time, and they're great questions because they actually make you stop and think, which is basically what they're set out to do. So you've got uncover, express, amplify, and then develop, support. HXJ is human experience journey, and then belong, us, and obviously send handwritten. So Greg, if you want to start with uncover, we can.
Awesome. So what's this about, Andy? Where did this come from and why do we do it?
It started with a couple of things. Realizing that most boardrooms or business people have an ego, and it's very hard for us to drop our ego. If you're not willing and able to drop your ego, don't come and do an uncover with me, because it won't be uncover, it'll be uncomfortable. Yeah. But if you're ready to drop your ego, then you get so much out of it. And that is not being disrespectful to anyone, because the first thing that comes in is ego. We want to be able to say, oh, you know, I'm really good at this and I've done this, you know, I've ran this many businesses, you know, and again, you know, I've done all these fantastic things. No one really cares at the end of the day. Yeah. What they want to know is, you know, what are you doing now? What are you doing next and where you're going? And who are you? Because if we went around the room and I asked all of you who you were, yeah, you would tell me about your work and your job and your title and everything else. You wouldn't actually tell me about you. And deep down, if we can answer the question on who we are, the first thing that we do is start to resonate with human beings, and we're connecting them with intention. They are seeing us as a human being. So that know, like, and trust factor, which everybody talks about, yeah, is the first thing that we're chipping away on. It's like, wow, Steve Sandor's a really nice bloke. And he is. The first time I met Steve, we were just chatting about fish and walking and everything else. Yeah, it's amazing. So you get to know people. Most people can't answer who they are. In actual fact, no one can. Yeah. And every time I do an uncover session and it goes through 3 different stages or 3 different sessions, I keep asking the same question and the same question and the same question. And it should change and iterate all of the time, because hopefully, you know, you're a different version of yourself tomorrow and in 6 months' time and 12 months' time, and hopefully that version of yourself is getting better.
Okay, so Andy, Kate is about to become, I think, if Kate chooses to, Kate's about to become an Uncover You client. What's in it for Kate in a sentence or two? Kate, I will, or we will. Like, how do we express that so Kate and the other affiliates can explain that to somebody in the marketplace?
Kate, first thing we will do is remove any ego. And the second thing we will do is find out who you truly are. Who you truly are. All the things you forgot that made Kate, we will figure them out and we will work through them. And the reason we do that is to find out who you resonate with on this planet. Because we can do all the branding stuff in the world. We can have all your target market set up, and I don't like the word avatar, but we can find the perfect avatar for you and the greatest formula, and we can ideate and create and do all these amazing things. But at the end of the day, if you do not resonate with the person you are trying to do business with, they will feel it. The energy will come down. The business will not transact properly. And then all of a sudden, freedom of separation comes into place. They're feeling let down. You're feeling let down. Business is not great.
There you go. Andy, let's move on. Why did we then implement Express You?
We put in Express You because we were starting to get to a stage where right in the middle of Uncover You, people were like, oh my God, I don't think my brand is my brand. My business name doesn't reflect me. My business value proposition doesn't, and everything else. The first thing that most people can't answer is, what is the ethos of what you're doing? Because nobody talks about ethos in branding. Everybody says, okay, you know, you need a squirrel on your logo and here's a really cute tagline and off you go and everyone's going to ask you questions. You're going to get all this business. You know, and a business value proposition is different from a tagline, you know, and everybody has drivers and pillars and the 6 stages of this and the 10 steps of that. It's fantastic. Yeah. But if you don't know what is the ethos of what you're doing, why you get out of bed in the morning, or as Greg mentioned, what is the purpose for you or your business, the ethos. The ethos is what's in your heart, the reason you do what you do. And finding that again in an uncover, most people go, wow, I think I'm doing business with the wrong people, or I don't think my brand matches what I'm doing. So when we start asking these difficult questions in an uncover, people were getting to a stage going, I think I need to redo my branding. Now, we're not trying to say by any means that we have to redo everybody's branding at all. Sometimes we redo everybody's for them. They're great. They want to do that. I might even just say, hey, listen, you want to change a few things in, or even just add your ethos in. There's not a full branding sale. But if somebody came to us and said, I want to do an Uncover You, and a great part of that is to take that into an Express You, which is your complete brand. And it's a complete brand, because inside of this Express You is who is your support system as well. So for example, you know, I might, if I was doing an Uncover with Steve, we're going to find out who's supporting Steve. Who are those people, not within the business, but those people around him that are keeping him motivated, that are keeping him inspired, that are keeping him fit and healthy and driven and creative, and making sure he gets time off and all those things, you know. Stuff that you wouldn't think that comes into a branding guide. That's what we call it an Express You. How do we express and hold you not only accountable, but put you in the marketplace the way you've showed up in an Uncover You?
And Andy, I explain it as telling stories that matter to people who care in channels that cut through. That's sort of part of the story with the Express You, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, I've just literally handed a full Express You document over to a client yesterday. And it's everything from, you know, helping you even rename your business if we need that. Full logos, different types of logos, obviously, the colors, but the psychology of the color. Why did we choose it? What are they going to reflect in your personality? Your tone of voice, your storytelling, how you're showing up. Are you the person that's, you know, you're delivering on what you promised to yourself into the marketplace? Can we do that? And then it's sample posts and everything. So there's a whole bunch of challenges. You go to a normal sort of, you know, creative department and you say, okay, I need some branding design. And they'll go, great, fill out this questionnaire and I'll send it back to you. And all of a sudden you get it. Unfortunately with us, which is also fortunately, you get about 36 pages of stuff. And there are so many different iterations of it. Yeah.
Andy, and like, at that point, you know, Uncover and Express You only. How did you get good at this stuff?
Which bit? The Express You component. I've been doing creative stuff since I was probably, I don't know, since I can remember, but I remember distinctly my stepfather bashing on my desk, on the top of my desk, to tell me to stop drawing cartoons underneath it and actually do my homework. Yeah, so creative stuff, yeah, through that. But you know, all of this Express You stuff, children's books, TV shows, everything creative I've worked on or worked in, been selling and working on my own art and stories and everything, I don't know, for 35 years or something like that. The Uncover section is I've done so much work on myself, being a parent since I was 19, that eventually Greg and Steve and I got together and we started talking about what we believe in and what we feel. And they pretty much challenged me and said, okay, if you think you can do this and you can talk to people and, you know, like we say, introduce some soul into the boardroom, then great, let's do it. So awesome. It's a combination of both skills, I think. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to flick to Steve in a sec. Do you want to say anything about Uncover and Express, Andy, before I?
No, the only thing I will say is the Uncover, you know, if a client, I've got a client, he's literally coming to the house tomorrow to do his first session because he only lives up the road. And you know, he's wanting to fast track this. He's really at a point where, you know, I need some help. I want to have some chats. I want to, I want you to ask me the difficult questions and I want to move on this because I need some help. Whereas a lot of the people will do a session, they'll wait 6 weeks, they get some stuff to work on. There's no time frame on it. We can push as fast or as slow as we need to because, like I say, I've had people in tears, I've had people hugging, clapping, kissing, laughing, you know, all different sorts of emotions. So it depends on how fast people want to go through. There is no time frame on that. With an Express You, yeah, it's kind of like a sort of set timing, and a lot of it's just back and forth. You know, we pride ourselves on, you know, not saying you only get one shot of it. We'll keep going until it looks amazing, until this comes across as something that we're all really, really proud of.
Yeah. All right. And we have an amazing client at the moment who gave us an Express You brief, and you did a phenomenal job because I saw it. You called me, you showed me the artwork, and I was, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Then she changed the name of her business, and you started all over again, and you did it a second time, and then you went and did it a third time when she changed it again. So this is about us walking with the human being, not as an advertising marketing agency, as human beings helping other human beings. And I don't know how else to express that. That is the defining difference with this team. All right. So, Steve, whether a client has worked with Andy with an Uncover and Express You or not, what's with this Amplify You? Like, why don't we just call these LinkedIn profile optimizations, and we'll make you a LinkedIn expert? Like, what Amplify You? Like, what? Tell us a story. Why this?
Yeah, look, I've come to realize over probably the last, 10 years myself, that there's a lot of people who have been on the LinkedIn platform that aren't really turning up as they are. They're actually an imposter in LinkedIn. And I came to that realization. I had a podcast show, and I could only get my questions really from a website or the internet or LinkedIn profiles. When I was sitting across the table from my guests and I was talking to them, and I had eye-to-eye contact and I had the cans on, and I'd be reading from their profile, but they'd be coming back to me with just a different point of view or a different persona that I could see on the page. And it was more deeper, more beautiful, more engaging, more free-flowing. And I just thought, wow, a lot of people must have their LinkedIn profiles that aren't really representing them 100%. So my thought with the whole Amplify You is to help people unlock the power of LinkedIn, and then build their strong personal, authentic reputation online and put it out to the world for all the world to see, because your LinkedIn profile is your social proof. So it was really important that with this program, that when I first met with someone, or I am meeting with someone, the first thing I want to see is where are they currently placed on their metrics with LinkedIn, with their SSI score. That's a metric that LinkedIn puts in place to measure the activity of its users. And there's lots of activity around that, but also where are they with their mindset? Where are they also with their current referrals and recommendations? What are people saying about them with their business? Like, a big part of my LinkedIn strategy is the recommendation section with everyone. Most people don't have it activated. And my belief is your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Well, the recommendation portion of the LinkedIn profile is that room you're not in. So what I do is I really focus on the 5 pillars of building your authority in the market. And so that one is to set you up for success. So that's your profile optimization for desktop and mobile. Then I look at what's called a connection outreach strategy. Are you reaching out with the right scripted message to actually get someone to even look at your profile and want to connect with you out of the 950 million members on that platform? Then another part is the conversion strategy. How are we going to actually get someone to do something with you? And that's done through what we call a data build. And we drive top of funnel activity through webinars, podcasts, and just recently we're doing live audio events on LinkedIn. And then I've been playing around just recently in what's called My Most Trusted. And this is a super connected, trusted advocate Chrome browser, which has just started up recently. And there's more that I can talk on that, but that's the 5 pillars of success. And one thing about LinkedIn, it's going through some amazing algorithm changes at the moment. And unfortunately, it's just laid off, as a business, it's laid off 668 jobs. So you can imagine everyone at the moment, the challenging climate, even LinkedIn's having its own struggles. It's almost at 1 billion members on there. But for my interest is, how am I going to make you stand out, and how am I going to make you live up to your own expectations and beyond? Because I know personally for me, I just want to be 1% better every day. And I do that, and I set my own challenges and limitations. I am up every morning at 3:30 a.m. I am into the gym every morning for 2 hours. But in those 2 hours, I'm listening to the best audiobooks and podcasts for self-development. And I've done that for over 10,000 hours. And that's led me into getting opportunities with Red Bull and some of the other big brands I've worked for. And what I've taken away from standing on the shoulders of other people is I've been ingrained in these beautiful businesses, and I've seen what success looks like. And I can now come to the market, and my 11 years, I can give you in 3 months. So
that's awesome, Steve. Yeah. And I know that you could talk for another hour. easy without drawing breath. When we talk to our clients and we discuss and uncover you and express you, when I'm talking to our clients and we talk about amplify you, there's two options. We can amplify you online by having a gentleman like Steve Dart wrap his arms metaphorically around you and help you amplify your online presence, and we will leverage LinkedIn. If you're interested in leveraging your online platform through other channels, other digital channels, at the moment, we're not for you. And that's okay. We don't propose to be experts in all channels, but if you are in business and you want the attention of businesses, that's the place. LinkedIn is our belief, is the place to play. I also say to people, and you're welcome to express this as well, amplify you online, but we'll also help you amplify yourself offline. So how do you amplify yourself offline? Think send handwritten, data, cards, calls, fierce creative, wonderful storytelling, and a whole bunch of other creative assets that we bring to expressing you offline. Think physical mail. All right, so Andy, give us 90 seconds or a couple of minutes on Develop You. Where did this come from? Why are we doing it?
The reason we're doing Develop is because most people are alone in business and they spend a lot of time working by themselves on small businesses, entrepreneurs in Zoom rooms and everything, and they don't have somebody to bounce creative ideas off, and they don't have somebody who thinks completely different for them. What we found ourselves being incredibly good at is finding that lightning in a bottle for somebody really, really quickly. And it's that point of difference. Point of difference is huge. I was talking about this the other day to some people in the Zoom room again, and it was, you know, we can all look over our shoulder for inspiration because creativity comes full circle. And inspiration doesn't give us a point of difference. Yeah. It gives us inspiration. What gives us a point of difference is creating a new lane and swimming in a new lane with no traffic. And the only way we do that is by looking over our shoulder and then looking forward and looking forward and looking forward and bouncing ideas around. Yeah. So the creative brains, so Steve and I can sit with the client and pick apart all of the things that are going on in their world and help them come up with ideas to give them a point of difference. And it could be to do with anything, absolutely anything. It could just be a website review and just pulling apart their website and going, this needs to live here. This doesn't sound right. This doesn't look right. Or is it a strategy that they need to take to market? Or is it a strategy they want to take back to the boardroom? Or is it literally, we've been bouncing these ideas around for ages and we're not getting anywhere. We need fresh eyes and fresh brains looking at these things.
And this is a really story that comes to mind around that. Like, is there a client that you can think of, or?
First story that comes to mind would be Steve and I were meeting with a gentleman. We met with him personally because he lived really close to us. He is the marketing guy for a fencing company. So think security fencing around construction sites. And they also do security fencing for events and things. So think of, the fencing along the Noosa Triathlon or whatever. He was talking to us. He's like, I really need to lift the marketing up on this and everything else. And I said, why don't you make your fencing interactive? I said, because you're already getting it printed. Why don't you make it interactive? So, what do you mean? I said, well, obviously we can sponsor different things on everything. I said, but think, 4D at the cinema. Yeah. So if you've got the Noosa Triathlon event, there's a section where the kids can go and they can, there's little squirty things, or there's music coming out of it, or there might be a part where they can actually paint on it and all these sorts of things, or is it going to be interactive on the job site as well? So are we going to allow different sponsorships to come in on different days and everything? Yeah. The side business of what they had was a printing company as well. So they had access to printers. So then it was like, okay, well, how do we involve community in this? Can we get an Indigenous arm to this? Yeah. They're giving him just a whole fresh set of ideas on around what could happen. Could they turn the pillars that hold these things up at these events, whether it's a Tough Mudder or a triathlon or whatever, the pillars that hold them up, could they have charging points in them for the phones? So all of a sudden they've got a captive audience in them. that's standing there and all, and they look and wow, there's a bunch of QR codes, and the QR codes become interactive. And maybe there's a component into that, you know, it might have a data capture, but it might also have some surprise and delight attached to it according to what the event's going on. So
awesome. All right, let's move the story on. Andy, I'm going to leave this with you because you're so good at describing this, because it involves the whole story around significance and support and surprise and delight. If you're happy to keep on that role.
Yeah, for sure. So Greg mentioned at the start, you know, data cards and calls, data cards and calls, data cards and calls. Yes, that's the formula. Got to think of it a little bit differently. So of course we would love somebody to come in and go, I need 1,000 cards a month for 12 months. Fantastic. Yeah, but that is just pay and spray marketing. We're not into that. I'd rather find out who you're looking for, where they are. And I mean, like Greg said, you know, we can't find people, you know, pixies under mushrooms or whatever with yellow t-shirts, but we'll certainly try really hard to find them. I'd rather find the people, the smaller group of people, and remove barrier to entry, eliminate any hurdles or anything. And we do that with call team activation and data research if we need to. So research is really, really looking deeply into who you're looking for, and call team activation, like Greg mentioned, yeah, has a pre-call and a post-call that is all scripted according to this whole creative. So there's two things that are happening. Yeah, we're trying to create as many touch points as we can until this person can speak to somebody who is in business looking for that attention. The first touch point is clever scripting and a pre-call. So it's along the lines of, hey, Kate, how are you? We would love to send you something. I want to confirm it's okay. Is there a safe mailing address? Nurturing this conversation and building excitement as well, and creating rapport at the start. Touch point number one. Touch point number two is creative envelope. Anything that's coming out of the inside of the envelope is also mirrored on the outside. We've got that whole 11-11 thing going. Many times, as you can see, it is what we want to create. So there's a creative envelope. So most people in the mail are getting white envelopes. You might get a colored one, but you're not going to get one with a picture of a mule with an arrow in its backside. The second thing they're going to see is a wax seal on the back of it. The wax seal's embossed with the client or the company's logo. And people, and I know this for a fact, because even the RTS stuff that we get to our PO box, they don't have wax seals, because the people who aren't intended to get the letter, the people who end up with it, take the wax seal off because they've never seen one, and then they send it back in the post. So the wax seal is another touch point. So there's another one. When they open the card, creative on the card again. Wow, they open it up. It's been written by a real human being. There's all these sorts of things. So data cards and calls, yes, there's a whole bunch inside that support, but also it's supporting you for what you're trying to get on your outcome. So think surprise and delight as well. So everything's about surprise and delight. We talk about doing something nice for somebody when they're least expecting it. They will remember it for the rest of their lives. Best way to describe it is this: I have 5 kids. I do not spoil them birthdays and Christmas, because that's what they're expecting. I spoil them when they're least expecting it. Pay my son's rego when he's not expecting it. He'll remember that forever. You know, buy your daughter something nice, she'll remember that forever if it's a random Tuesday. That sort of thing. If you can do that for your clients or those people around you and not expect anything out of it, can you imagine what happens moving forward? So most people want an ROI, yeah? They want the ROI, and they want to know, okay, if I send 100 cards out, how many clients I'm going to get? And we don't do that. We don't sell your TV for you. What we sell is the win, the energy win. Well, guess what might happen? You might meet a bunch of nice people and get them into your world. You might do something nice for somebody. Somebody might see this creative and get a smile out of it. You might realize along this journey of creativity and supporting you, wow, maybe I'm looking for the wrong person. I should have been looking for these people. You might realize you've got a new niche. And yes, you might end up getting some work out of it, but we want to help you celebrate the wins along the way.
Awesome. Perfect. And Andy, we talk about support you being your plug-in, plug-out business development team. I don't know how many times I've made that sign on a Zoom call. Maybe I shouldn't, but anyway, I do. But it's about plugging in and plugging out. And Kate's just done it. Kate shared with us that she has a client who has a very specific data target, and we've agreed with that client, we're just going to do 20 hours work. Plug us in. If the client likes it, great. let's do some more. If not, let's unplug. So because the context of the business world at the moment is anxious, let's keep investment levels sustainable or low or non-scary, and allow that human being to have the experience of us and the skill set that we've got. And hopefully we'll get the result. And then we go the next step, the next step, the next step. So making and keeping small agreements first is a really core component of the way we want to do business.
Yeah, and I think that plug in and plug out actually applies to just about everything we do, you know, primarily in that support you. But I mean, if you were doing Amplify You with Steve and you needed some help and you rang him, he'll answer the phone and he'll help you out 100%. And now that's a plug in and plug out service. It's the same with any of the stuff that we're doing. If somebody says to me, oh, great, Andy, guess what? I just went on holidays, I was talking to my husband and I've changed the business name. So all of the branding stuff you've done, we're going to redo it. Fantastic. No worries. Let's do it. We want to get you the best outcome you can. Yeah. 2 weeks later, oh, guess what, Andy? Yeah. Went away for the weekend with my husband and we've decided we're going to change it again. Okay, that's great. It's that plug in and plug out as well. It's not, you got 3 goes at this much time. Great. We're going to send this many things. Yeah. It's like, great. You want to, it worked. You got too much business. Great. Turn us off. Turn it off for a while and we'll get back to it. Or pit stop. Pit stop is huge. And a pit stop is when we look at everything in your campaign, no matter what's going on, and we look at all the analytics around it. So every single phone call, all of the feedback from the phone call, the feedback on the card, we look at the script again, what's working, what's not working. If it's working, great, we can turn up the volume a little bit. If it's not working, we iterate, we create, we ideate, we change, because we're in it for everybody, for the team, for the family, as Greg says.
All right. So we're going to be done here in a minute, and I don't want to spend too much longer on this. I don't want to dig into the human experience journey. That's a service that we're developing. We've all heard of customer experience journeys. Wake me up when it's over. How about if we think about the human or the people that we're doing business with rather than call them customers? They're humans. Let's go there. So there's a fair bit of psychology and thinking being injected into this at the moment. The Belong tab, so anybody is welcome. So Steve, certainly, are you still there, Steve, or did you fall off? Oh, he's coming and going.
I think he's fallen off.
Okay, so Steve certainly belongs to, and I just want to point first of all to the Smithsonian's. If you click on that, there's links to the Smithsonian's. Yes, it's a dad joke. It's a play on my surname. I didn't name it. Somebody else did. I know Andy thinks it's naff. Andy's just going to have to deal with that. But the Smithsonian's is 5:30 every Wednesday night. It's free of charge, and people in our community, in our family, are welcome to attend that. We haven't developed properly yet the other 2 options for belonging to the community, but as affiliates, we'll explain those. We'll give you more detail as Andy, Steve, and I develop those further. Yes, you can jump on here and have a look at who we are. Most businesses tend not to edify or even recognize the fact that they've got a support team in the background. We love these 3 Filipino team members, and there's other people as well that we're slowly adding to the site. They're extraordinary people, and they love Greg, Steve, and Andy. They walk on broken glass barefoot for us. So that's a really delightful part of what we're up to. We're serious about our team as well. And the final piece that I'll share here is that if you click on that button or you refer any of our clients to that button, you will flick back to the older Send Handwritten site. The only piece that I'll point out to here at the moment is if you've got somebody or yourself and you would like to experiment with what it is or what it is that a card looks like in the mail, the shop will give you that information. They're actually $13.97. I think the system's logged me in as my own member. But you can send one card to yourself or to somebody else. You can choose from here, or as an affiliate, I get you to talk to Andy, and he might have another design for you, or send us a design. Anyway, you can have a look at the card stuff from inside there. All right. So what I'd like to share with this group of people that are listening to the recording or that are here is that as an affiliate, there's a couple of things in our mind. One is we so appreciate the fact that you've got your arms around us, because that's our intention in reverse. So thank you for doing that. We want to be able to reward you for being our spokesperson around the business community. So the way we've structured this at the moment, and this is grandfathered for you folks that have signed that piece of paperwork, is that if somebody invests anywhere between basically $3 and $5 grand with us, there's $250 in that for you. If somebody invests over $5 grand, the way we've structured it at the moment is that 10% of that spend, ex GST, is for you. So the more active you are with us, this could be way more than grocery money very quickly. If you were to refer us to, a client a month that became a $5,000 or more client and they were spending 10 grand, that's $1 grand a month for you. Now, I say that not to manipulate. I say that because we don't have a business development team. Andy, Steve, and Greg are the business development team, and our clients are our best business development team, as are the affiliates of Ubuntu and Send Handwritten. So I'm not going to insult your intelligence by going through that document that you've signed, but refer to it. Keep us accountable as well. We want to support the Daniels and the Kates and the Steves and the people that are supporting us, and we will do that either cash-wise, or we will do it with, gifts in kind. You build up $5 grand worth of credit, we'll deliver $5 grand worth of service for you. That's the other option. Andy, you and I have built this together. And do you want to say anything more about that, sort of the spirit of that at the moment?
Only that it's a work in progress. And the more feedback on it we can get, the better. It's a win-win. We're all, again, to harp on it again, we're all about energy and positive energy. So it's a work in progress. We want to grow it because we want to help, grow the business and help grow everybody else's business at the same time. So.
Okay. So are there any questions? Or feedback? Oh my God, Greg, thank God you guys have stopped talking. Or, wow, this is interesting. This is different. Like you're inspired, you're bored. Like what do you get
actually,
when we share that?
I'll say something that we haven't touched on. Okay, say for example, Kate meets somebody, is trying to explain one of our services, and she's like, "Oh, look, you've just got to meet these guys, and they'll be able to explain it even better." There is a free 15-minute chat with either all three of us at any stage. All they do is click on it. It takes straight to our calendar, and they can book a 15-minute. Now, there's not one of us that's going to pull people up on that 15 minutes. Like I did a 15-minute last week, which was 45 minutes. There was three of us on the call. It was 15 minutes each. That's the way I explained it. They were so apologetic. They were taking too much time. And I was like, no, definitely not. The easiest person to sell your TV, for want of a better phrase, is the person doing it. So if you get to a stage and you think, I think this person's really suited to talking to the guys from Ubuntu, you can literally take them through to click on the calendar and help them out that way. So.
Okay. So, questions? Anybody got any feedback or questions or thoughts or anything? Because we've done all the talking. Yes, Kate.
I do have a question just around, I like how you've separated out all the different phases. As you've talked about, some people are at different phases on that journey, and some need a lot more help to get the clarity they need. Some are just right for the picking, like it's right there below the surface, and then they just need the right question in order for it all to crystallize. Do you know what I mean? Like the uncover you part can either be a really, well, in my experience, working with clients in similar situations, it can be a really long iterative thing. Like you were saying, they're really quite confused, and so they go away, have a conversation, they come back, it's changed. It can be a really long, drawn out process where they're trying to get the clarity over time. Other times, people have done all the work, all the reflection, it's like right there, and they just need that catalyst and that person to help them articulate their ideas. How do you account for that in your packages? Because I'm actually asking this from a personal perspective as well, because I feel like I'm that person where it's so close beneath the surface and it's the reflection is largely there. I just need that sounding board to get the clarity of thought and articulation. So I know you've got, your packages, it's this much for that one, this much for that one. I actually need all of what you offer, but I'm not sure I need the amount of time you've allocated for all the, do you know what I'm saying? Like, is there
100%. Hopefully this answers your question. So we have a client books in for Uncover, Express, Amplify. We get through session 1 of Uncover and I find out some stuff about their business. We get into session 2 and I said, you know what? I don't think you need all of the Express because you know your tagline, you've got a very strong business name. It's more about you and finding that creative ideation and that right person we're going to resonate with. So let's not do a full rebrand on you. It's a waste of time and investment. The last thing I want to do is waste anybody's investment. So we halve it or we quarter it or whatever we need to do. Yeah. The only way we don't know is until we get in there. The question or the statement I get from everybody every time I do a Uncover You is, wow, I didn't think we'd be talking about this. So it's very different to what people have done. But as we move through these things, if there's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't need to do, we will take it in a different direction 100% of the time. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got flexibility.
100%. Yeah. I mean, and then you've got the other way as well. So, I've got a client at the moment I'm doing Uncover with, and I literally, messaged her my mobile number if she wants help with her 6-year-old kid because she's really struggling being a mother. And she didn't come for parental help, but that's what came out of the Uncover. I was like, hey, we'll help you with everything. But guess what? If you're feeling like you want to strangle him and all that sort of stuff, don't text me, have a chat. If you can't talk to your husband, talk to me. So yeah, those little things that we don't know we're going to get to, we'll get to. But again, we pull up stumps on something for sure. If we get halfway through and go, right, Kat, you've done all this sort of stuff before. Great, brilliant. Let's move into whatever. I might literally just go, okay, we shouldn't be doing this. We should be doing development. In actual fact, we have a client at the moment who has swapped from, he literally was speaking today, he booked and paid for Amplify You. He spent 10 minutes with Steve and Steve said, it's a waste of time. And the client said, what do you mean? He goes, we're going to waste your investment. You need to talk to Andy. Just talk to Andy, see what he has to say, and we'll flip it. He spent, again, 15 minutes with me and went, oh, no, I need to do this. And I said, yeah, you're wasting your time doing that component because there's so much here at the moment that you need to fix. Yeah, but he is in the other boat. He's like, I need to go and I need to do this now and I'm happy to come to your house. So, yeah.
So, Kate, I guess the message is, and the message for the people listening is there's no fly traps. It's not like getting stuck to our web, and it's just not like that because that's how all these buggers do business, And I'm saying all, in inverted commas, as a gross generalization. The reputation that we want and that we have is, oh my God, these guys were so responsive. They understood, they listened. And you know what? I paid them X thousands of dollars and I didn't need their service. So they flicked it to something that I did actually need. Like, what a delight. If we're trading in surprise and delight, how awful is it of us then to go, no, sorry, you paid for that. You don't actually need that. That's your fault, not ours. See you later. We'll kick you out. No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Greg, would it be okay? Sorry, my internet dropped out. Would it be okay if I put a comment here?
Yeah, please.
So this is from the client's perspective, because very early in the piece, when Greg and I first met each other, I came on board as one of their clients. Can I absolutely attest? So Steve Dart wasn't yet in the picture. So it was Andy and Greg. And I can tell you that I was a horrible client through that whole process. And I can assure you that Andy and Greg had hair before they started dealing with me. But the creativity and the care and the attention and the care and the care and the care was something that I hope I give my clients, but it's just lovely to be a part of an organization that has that as its core value. And so I'm now back doing some work with Greg at the moment, but I wouldn't be hanging around with these guys if there wasn't some alignment with my principles, and I can only edify them. I hope it comes through that there are no fly traps, that their intention is to help as much as possible. The quality of the work is outstanding. And I spent, I don't know what it was, $5,000, and I generated about $80,000 out of that $5,000. So pretty good return on investment.
Cool. And yeah, so we're generating energy, and Steve and I go walking on the beach. A friendship came out of that. So, and that's part of the philosophy. And we don't want to be friends with all of our clients. Some of them are numbskulls, but those that resonate with us, we really love to get our arms around them, because I can't live on this planet alone. I don't want to live on this planet alone. It's our clients and this team that help make life make sense for me outside of my own family. All right, so Andy alluded to something a couple of minutes ago, then we're going to bring this to a close. If you would like some collateral, and you don't necessarily need this, so this is for the people listening to the recording as well, like if you would like a sample pack of cards, just so that you've got them on your desk. I know that Dean Keating, for instance, Kate, he shows this sample pack to everybody that he bumps into physically in business. If you'd like that, put your hand up. We'll send you a little sample pack. You'll see the sort of work that we do. And I think the current sample pack's even got the results that we got for our clients outlined in the handwritten script on the inside. So let me know if that's something that you would like. Greg, how do I introduce people to the Ubuntu powered by Send Handwritten team? And how do I earn that affiliate? This is a really good return on investment. All you need to do is say, hi, John, the team from Ubuntu are up to something of significance. They are contemporary storytellers and business communication experts. Here is Steve, Greg's, or Andy's email address or calendar link, or however it is, phone number, however it is that you want to put them in contact with us. That might be a 1-minute conversation for you. If we convert them, there's cashola or joy, hopefully, in that for you. There's no other, qualification process or none of that. It's really simple. Please keep this next piece in mind, and this is how I'd like to bring it pretty much to a close from me, unless Andy or Steve want to say any more. There are 5 easy, low investment, simple, friendly ways to connect with this team. Steve, Greg, and Andy all have Calendly links. That's 3 of them. And there is a 15-minute for you named on all of those Calendly links. And as Andy said, 15 can become a little bit more once we get into a conversation. The design of those is to build a relationship and to start a conversation. The 4th way to involve a client is to become part of the Smithsonian's, and then you're welcome to invite people to the Smithsonian's. Free 1-hour investment of time each week. The regulars get the most joy and benefit. And the 5th way, and this is what we'd really like help with between now and the end of the year in particular, closed door events. I think, Kate, you're registered for maybe the next one. Yep, on the 7th of November. I think there's 1 seat left for that. A closed door event goes for 2 hours. Steve, Greg, and Andy work with the people. There are only 6 people in the room, and we're talking about, Steve Dart, we're talking about branding and LinkedIn and storytelling and how to show up in ways that are different and that resonate in this, what is now the 2024 marketplace. Lightning in a bottle is what comes out of those 2-hour sessions. It's $197 to get the 3 geniuses, plus the genius of the participants, the guests at those meetings. The next one's on the 7th of November, then the 21st, and then the first week of December, there's 2. So if you're talking to people and you think this is right for them, $197 for 2 hours experience with us, it's a tiny investment. And that's it. That's the trajectory, and all the rest of it talk to Greg, Steve, or Andy, and they'll help you out and see what's right for you. Andy, do you want to say anything else as we draw this to a close?
Other than thanks for coming, appreciate your time. No.
Yeah, time and energy and your preparedness to support what it is that we're up to, collaborating on work that matters with people who care to make a difference in the world. Steve, do you want to say anything else at the end?
Yeah, look, thanks so much everyone for attending. One of the things I just put in the chat is obviously, you know, it's time to be you and to really stand out. So we've got the vehicle to help you do that. But we're so contactable anytime, phone, email, just contact us, ask us a question. We're so personable. So thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Cool. Daniel, Kate, Steve, question, statement, you get the last word.
I just got some feedback, and I just want to say that I'm really inspired by, I guess, the human connection element. I've had many conversations with some people over time, and you know, there is a real sense that, you know, people are missing that human connection, and it just seems to be getting diluted with all the digital products and sort of, I guess, the way that even people communicate these days. So it's really inspiring, and certainly appreciate what you guys are bringing to the table.
All right, thank you, Daniel. Steve, Kate, you don't have to say anything. If not, we're done. Kate, do you want to hang on? Do you want to hang on, or did we answer your question?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say thank you as well, and same as Daniel. Just it's very refreshing to work with a bunch of people who are on the same wavelength and putting people at the forefront of relationships. And I love what you said about customer journey being the human experience. I like the language. Sometimes it's just a simple language tweak, isn't it? To marketing is actually just building relationships, in my view, isn't it? And yeah, and serving. Okay. So thank you. I'll hang on the line.
Okay, great. Andy, have you got the capacity to hang for a minute? See you, Daniel. Thanks, mate. Because I think the questions. See you, mate. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm suspecting that Kate's questions will be more quickly answered by you, Andy, I'm guessing.
I think I can answer without her asking. I think you need to do half uncover, half develop.
Okay.
Yeah, because you talked about just scratching the surface on a few things, and maybe it's just, you know, getting some clarity and perspective on some stuff. I mean, if I open a conversation talking about resonance and energy, and you go, oh my God, I really relate to that language, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm sure that you've done. There's probably a bit of stuff that you haven't, you know, and then you were talking about scratching the surface on, you know, having that sounding board and somebody else to talk to about ideas and creativity that comes in develop. So I think there's probably a combination of the two. If we get halfway through uncover and we merge the two together, you probably get great value out of it. Yeah. Rather than sort of going, okay, it's this much for this and it's this much for that.
Yeah. And what's developed? When you say develop, what does that entail?
That's that creative ideation on you know, looking for your point of difference. What is it? Okay. How are we going to express it? What is the stuff you haven't thought of? What are the things sitting in your business that I can look at and go, oh, what if we did this? Or what if you did that? Yeah. Because sometimes, you know, we can sit there and try and come up with these creative ideas until you bounce one on somebody else and get just a tiny different perspective, or you might get something huge and go, wow, you know, I would never have thought of anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure